So it's funny, maybe like a year or so ago, I actually got into somewhat of a LinkedIn debate with someone about when they're starting out in the business, should they like only work with a specific niche? Should they, send out like a broad net to work with anyone? And my opinion, spoiler, was that they should just send out a broad net, especially if you're brand new to the industry. You don't want to get caught up shooting for just like one little bullseye. You want to expand your horizons. But where my opinion has changed in recent months is if you're a newer advisor, um, and like you're totally green, like you don't have any experience, you really shouldn't be out working like on your own. That's really kind of the first and foremost. You really should be joining up with another firm, whether that's a situation like joining up with like a money manager like Edward Jones or Northwestern Mutual, or if it's joining up with another independent firm in your area, which I actually would recommend independent firm if possible, just because you're going to have more leniency and you're going to have more freedom to try new things. But as you look to grow your book of business, if you're brand new in the field, think about what you knew and what you came from. So, for example, if you were a teacher and you're jumping into the retirement planning field or financial advising field, you should be marketing hard to teachers because you know how they think, or just educators in general. If you came from the hospitality industry, you should be marketing hard to the hospitality industry. If you came from anything in the government field, marketing hard to government employees, federal employees. You're going to really want to dig into that component because you'll also have a story to tell. That's the other thing. Marketing isn't just getting an at bat to meet with the prospect. It's also about sharing your own story and your brand because that's also going to create stickiness down the line. But if you're not a newer advisor, okay, you're not a newer advisor, you've got somewhat of either somewhat of an established book of business and client base or really established. You're multi-million, 100, 200, 300, 500 billion dollar money manager. You have hopefully a ton of fact finders you've saved. You could go right now and look at some of your top clients, and I say top, not just financially, like your A plus clients, like the ones that you duplicate over and over and over again. Go back and look at them and like the fact finders and see how they spend their time. What do they enjoy doing? Many of you will probably have a specific niche of client that you tend to appeal to and work with that you just don't even know about. There's actually a specific advisor story. A gentleman that I work with, he had no idea, absolutely no idea, that he had just so happened to work really, really well with, in his case, it was specifically middle school and high school public educators. And his was really specific, but he had no idea. He had about 200-ish clients, 200, 220 clients. And he wanted to go out and I think he wanted to work with government employees is how he really wanted to get into it because he thought he could understand their system really well and learn about it. But I encouraged him to take a step back and think about this and look at his clients right now. He realized that roughly 35 to 45% of his entire client base were public educators from a specific community, like 4 or 5 different school districts, and they were all between middle school to high school. And that's really granular. He had no idea, but now he knows. That's just who he appeals to really well. And he didn't know at the time if those, like a lot of them were referrals or if a lot of them came from his, like he did a lot of educational workshops and seminars around 403Bs. He didn't know where they came from at the time, which that should be documented. Always document that. But he found out that was his ideal client. So what he started doing after that moment was he hosted an event that was all around understanding 403Bs, like what it actually is versus a 401k, and then the pros to it, the cons to it. For his specific state, he was in California, so he actually dug into like California's specific education program, the retirement plan, and it was just truly educational. But he invited his current clients to it as well, or at least a lot of them. And that, number one, made the room look more full, so it made him feel a lot better. But it also it promoted those clients of his now to bring people that they knew were either looking at retiring or they maybe were about to retire or they just retired, whatever it was, it prompted them to bring people to the event. And then I won't go super deep in the details for the sake of time, but his closing percentage was different based off of if they were a public educator in that like specific criteria or if they were anything else. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but he closed at a higher rate when they were in that criteria, almost double the rate. And that right there will increase your ROI on all your marketing. So he dug into that. Again, he did educational workshops. You could also do webinars. I'm a huge fan of automated webinars around a specific niche topic. You can also do client appreciation events that is going to appeal to that specific niche. So another advisor that I work with, they have a lot of clients who they're really big into cooking. Just by circumstance, they love to cook. They love to grill. They love to barbecue. They love to talk about, what's your favorite recipe. The advisor actually sends out recipe books. But they just started hosting twice a year. They would do it in the spring and in the fall, a cooking class. And he specifically only invited the clients that he had that loved cooking, but he gave each client I believe 3 tickets to give to someone else to join and come with him. And he invited some pretty big name chefs from the area. I'm blanking on the names now, but he invited some really, really successful people to come to those events to grow that. But when it comes to working with a specific niche and how to find it and market to it, there's a really simple formula that I encourage you to follow. And that is this: niche plus event multiplied by the work that you put in is going to equal results. So niche plus event multiplied by the groundwork equals results. Public educators plus 403B workshops multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4 workshops is going to equal results.